Welcome to Sorta Professional. I'm Matt,
I'm Rich.
and we're here with our guest Rob and Mandy in the background here.
Mandy's a wrestling expert.
I don't think so.
She'll be doing most of the talking.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so Rich has really been wanting to talk about wrestling.
But I want to talk about wrestling. That's why I want you to watch clips. I want to talk about...
I want you to convince me to watch wrestling.
It's impossible in today's product right now. It's just not good enough.
We could possibly convince him to watch Mankind vs. Undertaker in the Steel Cage.
Hell in the Cell, you mean? That's Mick Foley's least favorite. Matt's trying to tell you to talk more towards the microphone and less pork chop.
I'm pretty sure Mick Foley's least favorite match is the one where he got just beat on by The Rock with those steel chairs.
Do you know that that's not his least favorite one is the Hell in the Cell because everybody brings it up. I don't. Knowing you, there's no way. There's no way to get you to watch wrestling, because you overthink everything. And to watch wrestling, you have to watch it for the performance, not for the story.
Were you just telling me that about one of the shows we were watching last week? Was it The Flash?
Matt, every time we watch a show, I tell you, Matt, it's a show. Don't overthink it.
That's not true.
You do overthink a lot. Like, sometimes you need to be Homer Simpson. That's how I live my life. There are times you need to just sit down and be like, I love lamp, like an anchor man.
Trust me. The last episode of The Flash was not great, but you were way overthinking it.
Like,
trying to remember all the stuff that happened. Well, I'm sorry, but the problem with dealing with time travel is that you have to at least bring up the paradox to throw it away and say, oh, it turns out it's not a thing.
The biggest problem with last week's episode, not last week, but the last episode of The
just
Flash,
so everybody knows, this has nothing to do with wrestling.
was, spoiler alert, just throwing this out there, spoilers. When Savitar was first released from the Speed Force, they never established that the Speed Force not having somebody in that prison could cause a catastrophe. Yet all of a sudden, not having somebody in that prison causes a catastrophe. It was perfectly fine the first time Savitar was out of the prison and nobody was in there. But the second time, it's some big issue.
Do you like what I did here, Rich?
Who's Rich? I don't get to talk about wrestling, so I'm just sitting here listening to a show that I don't like.
But
How can you not like The Flash?
I'll talk about that with you after my wrestling.
all right. So
So anyway, get back. You want to watch wrestling?
Here,
You have to, first of all, you have to come watch it with me because it's an experience in itself. But wrestling is just like comic books. It has storylines and villains and hot women.
A little more soap opera than good comedy.
Yeah, it's especially now because it's PG.
Also, you can't see one of the main stars. So
That is the worst gimmick ever. I used to like his word life gimmick when he was the master of the thugonomics.
that is part of what got me to stop watching wrestling.
hang on. I want to make sure I heard that right.
The master of thugonomics.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That
All right. I thought you said something completely different.
John Cena now is easier to palate because he's not around as much.
I love John Cena away from wrestling.
And see, I hate him away from wrestling. Like, I see enough of him on wrestling that I don't want to see him on TV and movies. I might go see the movie where he's shot and face down on the ground. He's in some war movie.
I hate
Oh yeah.
I hate to
The Wall?
I hate to
Yeah.
interrupt and keep bringing this up, but you either need to speak louder or really move closer to the mic.
I'm not cuddling you.
I'm not
you
telling
got-
you to cuddle me.
you
I'm
just
telling
got
you to move closer to the
scolded.
mic.
Like JR would say, like a scalded dog.
Because you do what I'm trying to train myself not to do, is you tend to pull away when you're talking.
I'm sorry, I work all day and I'm hungry, man. And I don't want to chew with an open mouth.
He didn't want to eat his pork into the microphone.
Well, then stop eating.
But he's hungry.
You're not allowed to eat.
This,
stop.
it's harsh. This is a harsh show. Last week he shushed me, and he's paid for it ever since. So anyway, Roman Reigns is the new John Cena. But I like Roman Reigns. Do you know who Roman Reigns is?
I know who Roman Reigns is because I know who Roman Reigns is, and I know The Rock completely failed save him.
Yeah, everybody's completely failed to save him, yet Vince McMahon
If The
continues to push him.
If The Rock can't save you got issues.
You know that you should be a villain when they pit you against the main villain of the company, which was Braun Strowman, and everybody cheered Braun Strowman.
He really should. After all this hate he's getting from the audience, from fans, it just makes sense for him to turn heel.
They should just unleash him as a heel because he's a beast. Like, I would be more believable into watching him be a bad guy.
I mean, it's really not a matter that he's not skilled, because he's got skills as a wrestler. I think it's just the fact that they're pushing him so damn hard, but he doesn't really have that, that personality you want to pick up on.
Somewhere out there's a bunch of former wrestlers getting really mad that we're talking about wrestling and who they should push. They get really mad about that for some reason. Like, just because I watched it for over 30 years means I can't have an opinion on it.
But, you've got some wrestlers who will admit to you that, yes, sometimes they push people that don't really deserve it.
That's always the best, isn't it? When you're told, oh, since you're not actually involved in it, you can't have an opinion on it.
But when I say that as an artist, I get, chastised for it. But the wrestlers are like, yeah, go for it, man. Good job. Don't let them tell you how to do your job.
That's how they started, too. Yeah.
Well, it's from all the steroids. So, did you watch SmackDown recently?
No.
You see Jinder Mahal is the champion? Yes, the Jinder Mahal from 3MB.
Yeah. That guy. I know Stone Cold's back.
No, he's
Or is
not.
that SmackDown or Raw?
Stone Cold's not back.
I saw him
What
just
what
recently
planet
on
are you
something.
living on?
I saw him just recently on something.
Not wrestling. He hasn't been on wrestling since WrestleMania of 2 years ago.
I could have sworn he made
Maybe
it.
you use a time machine.
Maybe.
Matt looks like he's ready to cry.
I do hallucinate a lot, so.
I'm actually tired right now, so yeah, there's those, you know how when you're tired sometimes you get the little,
Well, you know how excited
Blackness
you
in the
get
corner
for
of
your
your eye?
Flash and stuff?
no,
That's how I get excited for...
I don't get excited
Wrestling.
about anything anymore.
I could tell that when you were trying to explain the comics last episode.
I can't help it, that comic sucked.
But put a little
Wait.
passion into it. I think that's why I'm so good talking on a
The
microphone.
passion did get into it at the end there, didn't it?
Which one are we talking about here?
Titans.
Teen Titans, at the end of the Lazarus contract.
But I think that's why I'm so good on talking on a microphone, because I watched people do it for years.
To be fair, Matt, you should have expected it would suck when they put Damien in.
You can go
Well,
fuck yourself right now.
This will be the end of the wrestling thing, because Matt's going to be mad the
You
whole
can-
time now.
Go fuck yourself.
Matt, face it. Jason is the superior Robin.
No, he's not. I mean, you could argue, if you wanted, you'd still be wrong, that he's the superior character, superior hero, maybe. You can't
I wouldn't
argue that
call
he's
him
a
a superior hero.
You can't argue that he's a superior Robin because he died.
So did Damien.
Yeah, but he was killed by the Joker because he was stupid. Damien was killed by, oh my God, Leviathan because he was.
I don't remember
sacrificed
any of this
himself to
happening
save
on
people.
Monday Night Raw, just so you guys know.
Well, hey, like you said, he shouldn't have said that. Otherwise, we would
You-
have still been talking
So
about.
we'll
wrestling.
have a brother SmackDown on
A
the
brother
third one.
SmackDown.
Yeah. All right, so there you go. I integrated some wrestling. It's a brothers SmackDown because you guys are fighting about brothers.
All right, back to wrestling.
So do you watch anything lately? Like, do you know who Shinsuke Nakamura is?
Yeah, I know who he is.
Do you like
Didn't he
him?
win
I'll
Ninja
tell you
Warrior?
No, he didn't win Ninja Warrior.
That the name sounded familiar, so I had to look him up. But
Dave, you need to get that wrestling podcast with me going if you're listening.
I don't really watch because I don't want to deal with half of the stupid crap they have on there.
Oh, they had stupid crap on Monday, like Bailey, This Is Your Life. It was like a rip on the Mick Foley thing with The Rock, but bad.
That's because it's not Mick Foley and The Rock.
Mick Foley sucked when he came back as commissioner a few months back, and I love Mick Foley.
Listen, if he's not wrestling,
The problem is they don't let them do their own promos anymore.
Why?
Everything's written. Like, I can't, even Kurt Angle sucks right now because he can't be Kurt Angle. They try to make him Kurt Angle by forcing jokes that Kurt Angle would say. I love watching Matt's face when we talk about this. He gets like malazed over. He's like,
No, like I said, I'm tired. I'm actually looking at to see how long we've been running now.
I'm not that long yet.
No, it really hasn't been that long.
And you know what? That's the thing, though. You see, when you see most of the most famous wrestlers, like Stone Cold, The Rock, and unfortunately Hulk Hogan.
Unfortunately,
Unfortunately,
now you're gonna get me riled up.
he was annoying.
Annoying?
Super annoying. Anyway,
You're not a
they
Ric
were
Flair
given-
guy, right?
They were given freedom.
You're not a Ric
No,
Flair
I'm not
guy,
Ric
right?
Flair either.
Annoying. Without Hulk Hogan, there is no Stone Cold and The Rock.
Without Hulk Hogan, there is no Three Ninjas at that amusement park, whatever. movie
First of
that
all,
was.
it's Three Ninjas at Thunder Mountain, and he
Okay.
has a wig on in it. And he shaved his mustache off for that movie.
How did I know he would know that?
There's not much I don't know. So go ahead, make your point, even though it's wrong.
No, it's not. It's not wrong, trust me.
Hulk,
But-
you said Hulk Hogan is not.
what
as
was it?
important
What was that
as-
Hulk Hogan
No, I
the
said-
haunted where he was with the ghost hunting squad or whatever it was? You remember that cartoon?
Oh man, we used to have that in VHS.
Hulk Hogan's Rockin' Wrestling? Because that's the only cartoon he was in.
It might have been.
Unless you're confusing him for like the gorilla in the real
No,
Ghostbusters.
he was doing. There was a cartoon they did. I don't know how long it lasted. Maybe just one episode.
maybe.
Where he and a bunch of other wrestlers like
Oh,
Piper and all them were hunting ghosts.
That was Hogan wasn't in that movie. It was Piper, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Jim Neidhart, and the other, and Virgil.
He may not have voiced for that, but he was in that.
Was he? Because I
Yes.
couldn't get through it, so I never finished watching it.
In fact, I'm pretty sure we bought that because Hulk Hogan was in it.
Yeah. Anyway, what I was saying was, your most famous wrestlers became famous, became loved by the crowd. Guys like CM Punk, The Rock, Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold, because they were given freedom.
Apparently Rob's wrong. Price is wrong, Bob.
Would you agree with that?
I agree with you. That's one thing I miss now is the sponsors have taken away the fun of wrestling. Like, it's a chore for me to get through the 3 hours of Monday Night Raw right now.
Listen, I can't sit through 3 hours of anything.
I watch 5 hours of WrestleMania without any problems. But Raw right now is too much nonsense.
Which WrestleMania was it where The Rock came in with Ronda Rousey?
That was 31.
Did it seem like they were building to something that just never happened?
Yeah, because the UFC cockblocked. And now she's not with the UFC.
I'm pretty sure it's because Rousey lost.
I don't understand that because wrestling's a whole nother.
Yeah.
They could just make her into a female Brock Lesnar and everybody would love it.
That was another thing. After Rousey lost, it's like everybody started hating her.
Oh, it's just the way society is
Why?
now. We were just talking about Bailey.
Champions.
Everybody hates her now.
Champions fail.
Apparently,
don't
I'm
always
wrong
win.
again.
Sorry, somebody was running the dryer, and that's going off now.
Anyway, but like we just said, Bailey, everybody turned on her. I don't know if you know who Enzo and Cass are. They're the guys with the soft, SAWFT. They even have Snickers bars for them now.
I've heard the name Enzo.
Enzo Amore.
Yeah, I've heard that name.
Well, everybody's turning on them now because once you become popular in society, it's the way it runs now. You make fun of everybody.
You know what? This is kind of on wrestling, kind of not. But The Rock's production company announced they were doing a movie about Paige. And then that leak happened, and you're not hearing anything about it anymore. Like they had a script, they had actors lined up.
Well, the movie's in production.
It's still in production.
What happened was The Rock called CM Punk on his phone from the crowd and didn't approve it from Vince and Triple H. So when he called him, of course, CM Punk didn't answer, but he left him a voicemail. Then he tried to face chat him, and he couldn't get any Wi-Fi, and he cursed. And then some guy came out and started doing the neck thing, and they made The Rock go to the back. And that's why we haven't seen The Rock in a while. But both Rock and Stone Cold have a deal that when they're there, other than the scripted promos, they're allowed to do their usual shtick.
Well, yeah, because if you don't let them do that, what's the point in bringing him on?
That's like everybody wanting CM Punk back. I don't want him back because they'll just bury his ass for what happened.
Yeah. I don't want to see him Punk back because he's kind of an asshole.
He's on that MTV show. They just brought back The Real World, is it?
Why?
He's it's like champs versus chumps or something.
Have better things to do. You know, he doesn't have better things to do because he lost his last fight.
See, I went to that fight and I was the only person in Buffalo Wild Wings that was rooting for him to win. I knew he wasn't going to, but I just wanted him to win.
No, he wasn't going to because he thinks he's entitled to a fight after training for what was it, a year?
A year.
A year. When people have been training half their lives for this, and they're not getting fights.
That Mickey Gall guy mauled him. It wasn't a fight. He mauled him.
You know what I wanted to see?
What's that?
When CM Punk was first looking for opponents.
If you say Jason David Frank, I'm going to laugh.
I would have loved to.
Because that's what I wanted, too.
Because he would have beat that ass.
Did you see that guy at Phoenix Comic-Con wanted to kill him?
Yeah, I saw that.
I was
And he ruined it for everybody else.
Well, I never planned on bringing a weapon with me anyway.
Well, even lightsabers weren't allowed in after
I know.
that.
Well, there depends on what it is now. They're just checking it. I'm trying not to burp.
I got some Tums somewhere.
We started talking about wrestling and Matt left.
Yeah, he'll do that.
I don't know why he won't. He likes comic books and
He wants you to sit there and listen when he talks about something.
I do.
But as soon as you start talking about something,
Well, he made a wisecrack last show. He's like, somebody told me I don't talk enough and you talk too much. I knew he didn't mean it the way he said it, but I've been rolling with him like, oh, you want to talk, big shot? Go ahead, talk. Because he gets very uncomfortable. He's not as natural as like, you and I are.
I don't think Matt's going to like this part of the episode.
That's good. Who knows what you guys talked about when I was gone? Didn't you guys talk about video games?
Yeah, there was that list of RPGs that was stupid.
Stupid?
Yeah, it was so dumb.
So now we're talking about video games.
See,
and he's not here.
I could go into it with you, but I don't know how much you really want to hear about that.
I like RPGs. It's not something that I like. Everybody's like, oh, God, I'm waiting for Kingdom Hearts 3 to come out because they just delayed it till 2018.
Do you know the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic games?
Yes.
The original Knights of the Old Republic made it on there. I think it was a bit higher than it should have been, but in my mind, superior game, Knights of the Old Republic 2: The Sith Lords.
That's the one I love,
did not
too.
appear on there at all.
Really?
Not at all. And Skyrim was number 1.
I didn't like Skyrim at all.
I like Skyrim, but it is not the number 1 RPG.
I like Skyrim when I was actually playing it, and like instead of doing the open world where you walk around, and I'd kick some dragon and some wizard's ass, and then I'd go in the fucking forest and get mauled by a bear.
Yeah, the dragons were... some of the dragons were just super easy to beat in that game. But then you go up against the ones like, I think it was the Elder Dragons.
Yeah.
And they would just wreck you.
And then, like, they wanted me to go become a wizard in part of the game. You know, you go to the wizard school. So I got on my horse, and I was right, and the horse dies halfway there. So it takes me twice as long to get there.
Well, you were getting attacked by something.
I couldn't find out what it was. When I jumped off the horse, there was nothing there.
Well, that kind of situation is a lot more perilous when you start downloading mods, and the mods start making weather matter.
I saw the best mods. Somebody put Steve Austin, Randy Orton, Brock Lesnar, and Triple H into Grand Theft Auto. We were talking badly about you while you were gone, just so you know.
I noticed that as I was walking in, you were talking about a video game, but now you're talking about wrestling again.
No, did you see the mod for Skyrim that turns all the dragons into Macho Man?
Yes.
So good.
I almost peed, just like the one for what's that game? I can't remember it now. They made a movie about it. The Rock was in Doom.
Yeah.
And you can make it everything Tim Allen. So when you go when you go down the hallway, it goes "Ugh," the whole time you're going down the hallway.
You know what? I did see that.
That is so funny. Yeah, we were talking badly about you, how you don't talk well on the microphone. And I said it's not your fault. You're just you don't have a lot of practice with it.
Okay.
And then
he's
and
gonna
then
delete this entire portion of the
and then
episode.
he said you wouldn't be happy, and I said, well, maybe you guys talked about me on your show when I wasn't here, and then he started talking about video games, so we got off wrestling for a while.
No, the way I figure it is, I'll just throw this up the way it was. So I really hope you guys were talking a lot of shit about a lot of people.
Just you.
Just me, huh?
Just you and video games. But if you want to keep talking about video games, I don't mind that. Like, let's talk about Kingdom Hearts being delayed.
Oh,
Again?
Jesus.
You mean
2000
again?
2018.
Because I know.
At the earliest. They were talking 2020.
Yeah, Final Fantasy VII, too.
Yeah.
I know there was a trailer for Kingdom Hearts 3 back in before
2015,
2010.
yeah.
No, before 2010.
Really?
Yeah. Not a couple years after the second game came out.
I'm starting to think they're trolling us, and there is no Kingdom Hearts 3.
No, the
Yeah, there probably isn't. It's probably a Valve situation all over again.
to be fair to Square,
They're really good at making trailers. Oh, the trailers are great, just nothing comes out from them.
that thing that it was actually a secret ending of Kingdom Hearts 2 that you saw. That was actually a trailer for all the side games that were coming out.
Oh,
that was
really?
for those stories, not
Okay,
for
okay.
Kingdom Hearts 3.
They didn't explain it.
Everybody thought it was Kingdom Hearts 3, but it was actually the side games.
I'm more worried we're going to get crappy Disney movies now as the levels. Because a lot of the Disney movies now suck.
We could start getting Star Wars levels. That'd be fun.
Well, now that they're making a Marvel game, I guarantee you we get a Marvel level in that game.
Maybe.
Because they're making an Avengers game.
I keep hearing
Now,
about
how do you say it? Square Onyx or Square Enix?
Square Enix.
I say Onyx.
It used to just be Squaresoft, didn't it?
Yep.
You know, back in the good old days.
I have all the figures from Final Fantasy VII. The first ones before they made them $200 a piece.
I prefer 9.
Final Fantasy VIII was better.
Final Fantasy
9
VIII
was better than
was
8.
so easy that I put the queen to sleep at the end of the game.
9 was better than 8. The Queen to Sleep.
Yeah, not at the end of the game. One at the end of the first disc.
Yeah, the end of the first disc.
That's where I stopped playing it. My friend continued.
I put her to sleep, then I went to sleep. It was just weird.
I'm playing Diablo 3 now, and I have an enchantress with me, and she turns all my opponents into chickens. It's the weirdest thing, and I can't get it to stop. So when I'm going through the, everybody's like, oh, these torrents are hard. I'm just fighting chickens.
By the way, one of these days, Bethesda has to make some lore that explains why the chickens are apparently just like these very worshipped things in the world.
I think every video game
because
you
the
worship
guards try to
chickens.
kill you when you try to
Yeah.
kill the chickens.
No, not just the guards. Everybody.
Well, Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. If you attack the one of the chickens in the first area there, attack it enough, a swarm of chickens will just come in and start attacking Link.
I want to see that. Do you have like a mod of that game anywhere on your computer?
I could pull up a video of it.
I want to see that.
Yeah, I'll show you after the podcast.
I laugh at chickens. Like when she turned all the people in Diablo 3 to chickens, I was laughing the entire time.
Was there? Well, I suppose there was kind of a cow level in Diablo 3.
Yeah, it was dead cows.
It was more. It was more
Actually,
of a,
no, you're right. Have you done the portals for
Yeah.
the treasure goblins?
yeah. There's that one whimsical level.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I finally got one where you kill the unicorns and the teddy bears
Yeah.
and the ice cream cone.
Yep.
I just wanted to stay in that level the whole
Right.
time. You beat the crap out of like a rainbow.
Yeah, that was super fun.
It was like fighting a New Day.
I tried to get Rob to play it, but he wasn't interested.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't like Diablo 3?
I'm not really a fan of any of the Diablos.
I only like 3. It's the only one I've ever liked.
You played the shit out of Diablo 2.
That's because honestly, it was like the only game I hadn't played a lot of at the time.
I bought Darksiders, the War Master Edition, and ever since they updated Diablo 3, that's all I fucking play now.
What, Darksiders?
No, yeah,
Diablo 3?
Diablo 3. Ever since they updated, I just keep playing it.
Yeah, you know, I'm continuing to play Diablo 3 the same way I've always played Diablo 3. So I'll play it at like an hour for like an hour at a time, be really excited while I'm playing it. But
And
then
then
when I
get
go
bored.
back to it, I'm just like, I don't want to do this right now.
But I gotta play Darksiders and Darksiders 2 because Darksiders 3 comes out at the end of the summer.
No.
I'll tell you what, you play Diablo 3 better than I play Injustice, where I just set the computer to fight against each other.
Oh,
That's exactly what I do
I'm
too.
a button masher with the fighting games, so I can't win shit too. So when I found out you could let the computer do all the fighting for you, I was like, yeah.
It's fun. I got Wonder Woman's entire movie outfit from doing that. So.
I just got Tekken 7. I'm gonna start playing that tonight.
I don't like the Tekken games.
I think Tekken has a very nice, smooth combat system. Like the transitions between combos are really smooth. Whereas with a game like Mortal Kombat, you do a combo, then stop for a second, then go into
That's the
the combo.
chair you're hearing, by the way. It's very uncomfortable, and Rich keeps shifting.
Mortal Kombat hasn't been good since number 2.
Do you remember Mortal Kombat versus the DCU?
I never played it.
Oh man.
Oh.
Isn't that the one with Freddy Krueger in it?
I don't.
No, he was in Mortal Kombat, I think.
Yeah, he was in one of the
Yeah,
other
he was
Mortal Kombat
in
games, I think.
9 or 10.
Because
Not 10. 10
Scorpion
was,
and Sub-Zero in Injustice 2.
10 was Jason.
Have they confirmed?
Yeah, well, Jim Lee ruined it because he showed the drawings he did for it.
Yeah, I know Sub-Zero is gonna be. He's been announced as a fighter's back. I didn't know.
I'm
Scorpion
hoping.
had been too.
I'm hoping they did a little thing on Twitter where you could suggest characters, and being that Masters of the Universe is owned by DC, people might have got He-Man into the next Mortal Kombat game.
That would be pretty awesome.
And John Williams is
he's
still
gotta be
alive,
voiced.
so get him to do the voice.
He's
John
gotta-
Irwin, I'm sorry.
No,
John
he's-
Williams
no,
is the guy from
he's-
Star Wars.
He's got to be voiced by Dolph Lundgren.
Ugh. Then we won't be able to understand him. Even though that guy's got a fucking PhD.
No, I don't. He doesn't have a PhD. He has a couple master's degrees on.
I think he has a PhD.
It's still
I would like to, I'd go to Dr. Lundgren.
What does he have a PhD in?
Who cares? I think physics.
Really?
Yeah, he's that
Yeah,
smart.
He's a very smart guy.
I thought you were going to say divinity.
Actually, that actually reminds me of a story I heard about these two guys break into a house, right? These two guys break into a house, and the woman of the house is there in the house, so they tie her up, and they start just ransacking the place looking for anything valuable.
I don't like where this story's going.
Me either. I was starting to think, what's going on here?
Don't
So
shoot me.
they get up.
Not, doesn't feel so good, does it?
So they get up to they
That's why I
they
did
get
that.
into like the living room type area, and they look up on the mantle, and then they just book it out of the house.
She's married to John Wick.
No, Dolph Lundgren. It was what the hell is her name? Brigitte Nielsen?
She's ugly too.
She
Oh.
is.
No, sorry, she married Flavor Flav. She married Flavor Flav. Sorry.
She's ugly too.
Oh boy.
When did Flavor Flav get his surgery?
Who's Flavor Flav? Is that the guy with the clock?
That's the guy with the claw.
Alright. I kind
How
of.
do you not know who Flavor Flav
'Cause
is?
I'm a Metallica, Guns N'
He
Roses
did. He's
guy,
the guy with the clock.
and I'm not a rap guy in any way.
You gotta know who Flavor Flav is.
He's the guy. The guy that says
He's
his
an
name,
icon.
right? Flavor Flav. What are you looking for?
Who knows?
What do you do with my next?
Your what?
My Nexium.
Oh, I don't know. It was not
We
on the
didn't
table.
touch anything when we sat down.
I can guarantee you it wasn't.
We're looking for Nexium, if anybody's wondering, because this is going to be an awkward moment.
Oh well, my heart will just explode.
See, I can talk about video games. I'm just glad we talked about something other than comic books. I mean, people are like, what the fuck?
Talked about a lot of things other
But,
than comic
you know,
books.
let's mix the two together and talk about Injustice 2.
You go ahead. You've been playing a lot more of it than I. Well,
Playing it is a stretch. I've been watching it be played by the computer.
Is that the easiest way to get all the mods? Like,
All the gear?
all the different,
Yeah,
yeah.
like mods to the
It's-
characters. I'm
if
sorry, I know
you-
mods in video games
If
to
you
video
set
game
up-
people mean something
If you set up
different.
your character the right way, your level 1 computer-controlled character can beat a level 20 boss character. I know, because I put Deadshot on all ranged attacks. And
a hard zoner for anybody in the fighting game business.
he just wrecked a level 20 boss.
He's like
Darkseid.
Cable in Marvel vs. Capcom, where he
My,
was like,
my
unbeatable.
level 20 Black Canary got wrecked by this same boss, and Deadshot level 1 just wiped him out. All basic gear.
Are you guys excited for the new Marvel vs. Capcom game?
No.
I didn't even play the last one. I don't think.
The last one sucked, and then they stole our money.
I'm
They put a better version out after you spent $50.
I'm pretty sure there's
Capcom
a
was-
lot of X-Men characters that won't be in this game now.
Oh yeah.
Well, I got a breaking story for everybody too. The Fantastic Four are back on the table now,
Great.
so that means X-Men will be slowly behind.
Great. I don't
There
know
is,
about
and
that.
by the way, there is no official X-Men ban. They only banned it to fuck with Fox for
Yeah.
a while.
Just like there was never an official ban embargo, that didn't mean it didn't exist.
But there was a ban on the Fantastic Four. Like,
for some reason.
we weren't allowed to draw anything like the Watcher or any of those characters. The little green dude, what the hell's his name? Picklehead.
Wait, didn't they confirm that Stan Lee was that character?
Yeah.
Yeah, all Stan Lee's cameos are actually the Watcher.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's confirmed now.
That was the big Guardians of the Galaxy thing.
Oh, was it?
Because he's actually telling a story to them at the end, and he goes, yeah, and then I showed up and I called him Tony Stank, so that stuck around for a while, and then they leave him there. And he goes, well, how am I supposed to get home?
That was one of the best parts of that movie.
But the whole thing would get, like, the only X-Men that were ever banned, because I've done work for that stuff, was Rogue, Gambit, Apocalypse, and Nightcrawler. The only 4 characters you're not allowed to draw.
Why?
Nobody knows. We were in the middle of doing Marvel Masterpieces, and all of a sudden, just they're like, addendum to your contract, you can't draw Gambit, Rogue, Apocalypse, or Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler. The best X-Man.
Meanwhile, he's appearing in Spider-Man, Deadpool, he's in the X-Men books. No one can't draw him.
Now, when was this?
Just this year.
Just this year? I mean, that kind of makes sense if it was around the release of Age of Apocalypse, because Nightcrawler.
Well, that's when Apocalypse went on to the list, but the other 3 were before that.
That's just weird.
I was expecting Wolverine and Deadpool to hit the list, but
Why
they never did.
Rogue?
No idea why Rogue was on that list for any reason. Could draw Magneto, Professor X, any of those. Because I've noticed even with the new Marvel Legend toys, there's no new Gambit, there's no new Nightcrawler, there's no new Rogue or
I'm
Apocalypse.
surprised they didn't give Professor Xavier hair just to mess with Fox.
I still have that cover you did.
Do you? The Nightcrawler one?
Yep.
I love drawing Nightcrawler. I'm not a big fan of Banff, though.
That works out because I love Nightcrawler.
Oh,
That book had a hard life. It was supposed to be sold on eBay. I was told it was sold on eBay, and it wasn't really sold. Then it sat on the shelf and collected dust, more lies, and then it finally made it home with you.
For free.
Not everybody appreciates me,
Yeah.
but this was nice to talk about something I'm passionate about: video games and wrestling. Sometimes the comic book talk gets to me, and I'm just like, pfft. Especially being you just fucking told me that Batman's quitting again.
What?
Maybe. I don't know that.
The rumor is in the next issue of Batman he quits again.
You know, Batman doesn't quit.
He quits every year. He quit after Endgame. He quit after
Now
Nightfall.
that you're here, do not leave without reminding me that I'm supposed to let you borrow whatever happened to the Caped Crusader.
He didn't,
Yes.
He didn't quit after Endgame.
Yes, he did. If he quit in the cave when Alfred goes, let me send someone to come get you. He goes, no, I'm good. I'm going to die with my friend here.
I guess, sure, whatever.
He always, and then he quits. After Alfred tells him he's Batman, he goes, nah, I'm going to go open up a little children's home and put my dinosaur and paint
That's
it purple.
Because, well, did he have all his memories back at that point?
He acted like Harry Osborn in
I
Spider-Man
don't know.
3.
I stopped reading Scott Snyder Batman.
Batman had his memories back for a bit before he became Batman again.
The Gordon run, if you pretend that it wasn't written by Scott Snyder, isn't bad.
There were some parts of Scott Snyder's run that really hit.
Just say Greg Capullo drew some pictures and words
Greg,
magically
Greg,
appeared.
Greg Capullo drew a nice Gordon Batman story. Because it was pretty. I didn't like Mr. Bloom at all.
Greg Capullo is a great artist.
Matt and I were talking about this last night. I think, was it last night or was it the night before? We were talking about the Arkham Asylum.
Oh yeah.
The graphic novel. Where some parts of that book are beautiful.
And then
And then other parts are just...
I just said that to him about the Wonder Woman annual he bought. I'm like, oh, this is cool. The first like 8 pages are beautiful, and then I turned the page. I was like, bleh. Get to the next page. It's just I don't get when they do that, but I guess because some artists only agree to do like 10 or 12 pages. Believe it or not. Did we run long?
We're at about 35 minutes, but that's fine.
That's
We're
a good
having
way.
fun talking.
That's a good way though to end the middle. I like to end this episode there.
Okay, then that's where we'll end it, and we'll pick up for Friday then, because this will be Wednesday.
Comic book day. Enjoy, folks.
Oh, yeah. I'm Matt,
I'm always rich.
I'm Rob.
and this has been Sorta Professional. Bye, folks.